What's good, y'all? Welcome to the channel. If you're new here, I am Batosai, and I'm sort of an aspiring content creator. I make videos on things that I'm enthusiastic about, and today I'll be taking you through a tour of my home office. So last year I finally moved out of my parents' house, and for my new home, I made it a goal to have a dedicated room that would serve as both my workspace and a game room. A room where I can get creative and feel inspired, or escape the world for a little bit and just be in my zone. I'm a pretty big introvert, so I feel it's important to have that kind of safe space, and for me, it's my home office. So let's take a look around, and I'll show you how I turned a small spare bedroom into my dream workspace. I took everything I could from my old bedroom setup, packed it all into a U-Haul because I couldn't afford movers, and began the project to see how it would all look in this small 10 by 11 foot square bedroom. And as you can see, it didn't look that appealing at first. I didn't like the two tones of the wood coming from my old desk and the floor, so I decided that the first purchase that I would make would be a new countertop from IKEA. If you watch setup videos a lot like I do, you know that these countertops from IKEA are the best bang for your buck when building your own desk. I went with a light concrete, and they did raise the price of it since I got it, but I still think at $100 it's definitely worth it. I love how nicely it blends with my white walls. So I'm not really a tech guy, but let's go over what I got going on. The monitor I have is a 34-inch ultrawide display from Alienware. It has a 120Hz refresh rate, so it meets my needs for both gaming and productivity. I've actually had it for a couple years, and it's still working great. It's attached to this Vivo monitor arm that I've also had for like 5 years. And on top, I have the BenQ screen bar. It's a nice light option that doesn't really add glare to the screen. For my speakers, I have a pair of the Audio Engine A2 Plus. I've had these for a couple years now, and they're just okay in my opinion. I do love the design with the speaker stands, but I've had some issues with the left speaker going in and out sometimes. These are hooked up to a subwoofer because they do lack decent bass. The subwoofer comes from my old Logitech speakers, and it has this included dial that lets you physically control the volume. As for the rest of my peripherals, the keyboard of choice is the Leopold FC660C with a custom built aluminum case. I absolutely love the way it both looks and feels. The all black heavy duty aluminum shell really makes the keyboard feel premium. It has taupe silent switches that make it really satisfying to type with. For the mouse, I am rocking my old reliable, the Logitech MX Master 2S. This is a great example of me not always going for constant upgrades, because I've had this since 2018, and even though it's got a ton of wear and tear, like this large gash in the rubber where my thumb sits, I don't feel like I need a new mouse just yet because this one hasn't stopped working and the battery life is still pretty decent, and you just can't really beat the ergonomics of the mouse, so if I do upgrade, I think I'll go for the MX Master 3S. Lastly, I have this aluminum wrist rest for my keyboard, and they're all sitting on top of a extended mouse pad from SteelSeries. Helps dampen the sound from my keyboard, and it's nice for gaming. Now onto my favorite addition, which I feel adds a little flavor to the desk setup, which is my small Sony television. Something you should know about me is that I love almost all things vintage, and vintage tech is no exception. I love having this little CRT TV on my desk to play all my old animes, movies, and shows. It just adds this nostalgic vibe to the space that I find captivating. I love just putting on something and having it play in the background while I'm using my computer. I'm not necessarily always watching it, but for me, it's nice to have something playing if I'm not doing something that needs major focus. You can find these on eBay like I did, but don't pay those ridiculous prices, cause just a few years ago, I found this for like $100 with shipping. Moving on to the other side real quick, it's just a simple mushroom lamp that I found at Home Goods. This just adds some nice supplemental lighting, you know, vibes I guess. Underneath the desk, I keep a piano. Admittedly, I don't really play it much, but music is a big part of my life, and learning the piano is one of my biggest aspirations. I keep this here because 1, it looks cool, and 2, it can easily be stored, but for now, I think it looks good here. And that's pretty much it for the desk setup. It's a simple design and not really different from my previous setups, but I still love it. Next, let's look at this little shelf that I put together. This is located to the left of my desk. For a while I had nothing here and I needed something to help expand the office, so I picked up this 6 cube shelf from Target for about 75 bucks. It houses my record player and records. Like I said, I love vintage, and the vibes from putting out a good record just kind of hits different for me. Also on the shelf, I have this Sony PVM. If you don't know what that is, it's an old professional video monitor. They use these monitors for like productions on music videos, video games, movies, before the technology was obsolete. Honestly, it's an overpriced TV, but I got mine for a great deal a couple years ago, and I have a couple consoles hooked up to it. I love playing a classic PS1 RPG or some nostalgic Dreamcast games from time to time. Playing it on this monitor makes it look really nice and crisp, but for the money, I think you could probably pass on this. If you can't tell by now, the vibe of my office is like a loosely tied tech noir theme. One of my favorite movies of all time is Blade Runner, and I took a lot of inspiration from that movie with the mix of old and new technology within the office. For me, I love the small things in life, and just being able to come up here, escape the world for a little bit, and just play some games brings me joy. Moving on to the other side of the room, this is my labor of love. Now, I love a minimalist aesthetic, and it's like everything for me, but I don't think I could be a true minimalist myself. I've had this like lifelong passion for collecting physical media and just obtaining the things that I love. One of the biggest purchases that I've always wanted was this sliding glass door cabinet from IKEA. I collect a lot of things like movies, games, and like art books, and this is where I put them. To keep the theme going, on top of the shelf I have a few old electronics on display. The buttons and dials I feel helps the room lean into that Blade Runner vibe I'm going for, and I think looks pretty good. Now to the left of the shelf is my most recent and probably final addition to the office. This is a 30-inch Sony Trinitron that to most people would be like, what is this behemoth of a TV? But for me, I absolutely love the aesthetic, and I was offered this for free from one of my old coworkers and was so ecstatic to get it. The TV stand has these nice glass doors that really complement the shelf right next to it. Inside, I keep a couple modded consoles and my PS4 for streaming, as well as a VCR. Now, the TV sits pretty low when you're watching movies, so it's not really comfortable on the chair. So I have this foldable like memory foam mattress that I got on Amazon that I like to just lay out and be able to just pretend that I'm in like a small studio apartment. And that's pretty much it for the office. I'll quickly glance over the art pieces that I have laying around the room. I have a production cell from my favorite anime of all time, a postcard from Berserk, and a small print of Blade Runner. Above my desk setup, I have a few more things, a couple posters, Princess Mononoke and Akira, and in the center is where the moniker Batosai comes from, and is my most prized possession, a production cell from Rurouni Kenshin's OVA. And lastly, let's take a quick peek in the closet. In here is not really exciting. This is where I usually keep my camera lights and just a bunch of boxes for all my collectibles that I've collected that I don't have on display. And that is it for my home office. I spent over a year piecing it all together slowly, and I think it came out pretty nice. It's not the most productive home office, and it's more like a game room, but since I'm not a full-time content creator and for now it's just a fun hobby, something like this is perfect for me and my needs. It's a space where I can just come in and choose to either escape the world or fully connect and be productive, which for me is the perfect home office. If you made it to the end, I just want to say thank you so much for watching. I'll try to have everything linked in the video description, and if you have any questions, just leave a comment and I'll get to you when I can. Thanks again for tuning in. Subscribe if you'd like to see more videos from me, such as men's fashion and lifestyle stuff, but making it look cool. I'm Batosai, and I'll catch you in the next video.